Normally between the legs.
I have to put a little hair around it to find it. I'm used to 70s porn.
Speaking of 70s porn,
Shut up! I gotta start the show.
Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator.
Oh, fuck off!
This is the Fortean Slip with your host, Chris York.
I don't need porn, Chris. I have a good woman.
Listen, I have a good woman. I still watch porn.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
You are the top shit in Bigfootery if you get the invitation.
Oh, are you?
I've gotten the invitation 2 years in a row now, Chris.
Wow, not me.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
It's part of growing older, you know? Maturing. Making me more dignified and stuff.
Okay, George Washington.
I opted for the,
Is that what meth addicts say? That make me more dignified.
Taking on all things strange since 2013.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what the hell.
Are you saying that he's pregnant?
Possibly.
Was he implanted by one of these teenage aliens?
Didn't it happen to Arnold?
This device, which comes as part of Nintendo's Quality of Life initiative, is
gonna have kids running around banging their heads off bricks.
Yeah.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge. Howdy do, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This would be episode 93. Tonight, I don't have any witty show title. We bring to you live. I don't even know where the fuck he's from. All I know is that he needs an 8 to 15 minute montage from the 80s to get dressed up to go out into the fucking woods and do anything. We bring to you Mr. Steve Kulls.
Yo, what's up?
Where do you hail from, Steve? I mean, you don't have to tell me like your fucking address, or give so I can look at it on Google Maps or anything.
137.
Hang on, I'm just making sure the restraining order is in play. I'm from about 8 miles north of Albany, New York.
Ah, okay, all right. I thought you were in New York.
click.
That's it.
But yeah, I'd been trying to get a hold of Steve for a while now to do the show. But how long ago did you and Alcorn hook up at the Chautauqua conference? When was that?
Wasn't that last year, wasn't it?
We've done that twice, though. I was there a prior year, too. The year Bob Gimlin was there, I was there as well.
That's true. Yeah, but that was the first one. That was 2012.
Yep.
And last year.
Yep, and you introduced me to, what the fuck was that? Calamari.
Yeah,
That's some good stuff, man.
The squid. That's right.
All I remember is Steve's like, yeah, I'm going to go out and have some dinner and drinks with Steve Kulls. And I was like, oh, cool. Fucking talk to him about getting on the show, asshole.
And I didn't.
3 Shirley Temples later.
Yeah, no shit, right?
What was I supposed to talk to him about?
Huh? So I'd been bugging him for a little while, and I've been wanting to do have a couple of different people on this year, being it our 3rd year on the air, and we don't really talk to fucking anybody at all. Mostly because I don't think anyone dares to talk to us.
They don't like us much.
Yeah.
Well, there was that one gentleman that changed his entire position on Bigfooting just to avoid being on the show. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the hobbyist.
Yes.
I wouldn't dare mention any names.
Yes, I don't want to. I don't know. I I don't want to come right out and say it, but yes, there was a gentleman who was supposed to do the show. I readjusted quite a few times for his scheduling, and at the last time I spoke to him, I was told it's just a hobby. Oh, I didn't know when you run an organization that has to do with Bigfooting that it's a fucking hobby.
An actual organization too, not one of these, Facebook groups.
Yeah, not like the fucking Squatchers Lounge.
Oh, well, let's not go there.
Oh. But yeah, so like I said, I've been wanting to try and get at least somebody on it. I mean, we interviewed a while ago, and it was just Matt and I, but Gene St. Jean, who, by the way, said one of the fucking funniest things I've ever heard when he said that Parallax from the Green Lantern movie looked like a big cum monster. That was probably...
Cooney.
Well, yeah, Jay, but Jay's a fucking high school kid that's like... He just like could barely watch Showgirls at this point.
But Jay's brilliant. And it was his birthday this week, so everybody should wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, no,
he's 18. He's 18 now. He's an adult, so he can be on our show for real.
He was on our show for real before.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And I'm pretty sure we can't get in any trouble for that.
I hope not.
Well, I'm pretty sure. If so, well, I'll tell him it was your fault. You're the one that introduced me to him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, Jay, not Chris.
But those of you who don't know Mr. Kulls, I was introduced to you by way of Monsterquest.
Yeah, that was way back.
And I don't remember which episodes you were on. I know it was more than one.
Nope, I was on one.
You were only on one? I thought you were on more than one. I swear to God, I thought you were on more than one. And I
leave that kind of impression sometimes.
The Bigfoot in New York episode, I believe.
That is correct, Mr. Alcorn.
See that?
Hey, Brown Noser, I was his co-host for a while. All right.
Hey, I can admit when I'm wrong, motherfucker.
I ate calamari with Steve Kulls. I got you all fucking beat.
But yeah, I was introduced to you then from that whole thing, and like I said, that's when I came up with my idea that you were a fucking tactical man. You reminded me of every fucking 80s montage I've ever seen of Rambo, fucking Steven Seagal, with your fucking getup. But over the years, obviously you've I wouldn't say you've gotten a little quieter about it, but you're not exactly as in your face out there about it anymore. I think the last time that I heard your name mentioned was with the whole Rick Dyer thing in, what was it, California or Las Vegas or fucking somewhere out west, where you had gone out there.
Yeah, and he was trying to get me to go to the Hollywood sign, and I was like, nope, not doing it. And
he wanted on a tour of Los Angeles.
He wanted to get you to go to the Hollywood sign?
Oh, yeah. I knew from minute one that this was some sort of ruse. And I remember Robert Lindsay. Remember Robert Lindsay?
Oh, God. I haven't heard about him in a while.
Yeah, well, anyway.
The early Steve Jobs?
Well, he called me up like the night before I was going out, and he was trying to get the scoop. So you're expecting to see a baby Bigfoot? No, I'm expecting a hoax, and that's what I told him flat out. So I fly out there, and then Dyer's like, "Oh, I can't pick you up at the airport. Can you?" I'm like, "No." And there was a couple other people that he invited that were coming down, so I was on the phone with them. I'm like, "You know what? Just pick me up at the airport. We'll go down to the hotel, to the bar, and we'll see if Dyer will come down there." And of course, by the time we get down there, Dyer's like, "Oh, I got you. I'm not even there." Well, I got you too. I'm in a bar having a fucking drink.
And I can verify that because he actually called me from the bar.
That's right. There's 3 gin and tonics later. And then I went to In-N-Out Burger, which we don't have here on the East Coast, and I flew home.
And I never got to try that when I was out there. I was pissed.
Dumb fuck.
Good stuff.
So I've heard. So I fucking heard. I wasn't. How do I want to put this? Allowed.
You had an In-N-Out burger, all right.
Oh yeah, I had a something. So yeah, but I mean that's the last time I had heard anything about you having anything to do with Bigfooting, if you want to call it that, or Sasquatchery, or whatever the fuck you want.
I've actually been out there, and I'm trying to think if 2013 I had a couple of shows air. I was on Paranormal, and I was on America's Book of Secrets. They just re-edited my Truth Behind the Loch Ness Monster into The Truth Behind Zombies and Monsters. They just released that one last week, as a matter of fact. I was just flipping through the channels. I was like, what the hell is this?
What did they just they just rehashed the footage and threw you into another show?
Yeah, they gave the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah.
They just cut to him for reaction scenes.
What the? But,
Kulls is a big TV star on the History Channel too.
Yeah, exactly.
I keep getting rerun. Well, at least, I feel like, someday I'll be up there with the Gilligan and, Gilligan and the Skipper and all the other cast. They constantly rerun.
You think you're going to have that many?
History has shown.
It's a shallow pool, Steve.
That's it.
It's not very big. But, so what do you think about, the success, or oh god, I hate to even say that, but the success of finding Bigfoot, and that it's still fucking going on?
Well, look at the other shows they have out there. If you put Finding Bigfoot up there, now you got to understand it's an entertainment company that's running the show there. So, yeah, they're going to take the best jabs and the most ridiculous jabs they can at the whole thing to draw an audience. But if you take a look at Finding Bigfoot and compare it to some of the other programs that are out there where these guys are having Bigfoot activity every week and, we got him in the trap, he got out every week, Jesus Christ, you would think Finding Bigfoot deserves an Emmy.
Well, since you went there with it, I guess we're essentially talking about mountain monsters and Alaska monsters and shows like that.
Yeah.
Where they have cast members of ZZ Top looking for Bigfoot or Duck Dynasty or whatever.
Exactly.
So what do you think about all these veteran researchers hooking up with one of the cast members from that show and treating him like he's an actual Bigfoot researcher? Have you noticed that happening?
Well, it is what it is. I'm adult enough to look at a program to know what's real and what's not. I know the difference between a Finding Bigfoot and the difference between a mountain monsters.
Right.
And if somebody if you want to pull them into something, that's on them. That's on them.
You think they're just trying to rub elbows with celebrities or something?
Not necessarily. I think that if you have a particular venue and you're trying to attract people to it, and it's a popular show, that's the name of the game, to get doors in the feet in the doors, I suppose. But on the other hand, about Finding Bigfoot, it did a lot to at least somewhat educate people. People may not agree with everything that they may say or may not say.
Bigfoot shoots laser beams from their eyes.
No,
they come through interdimensional portals that can be shut off by flashlights.
Or better yet, when they go to bed at night, they actually dream of Steve Alcorn. But that's
that is
they control their dreams. So yeah.
But the I've kind of taken a softer look at things now that Bigfoot's on, plastered all over the television. I mean, we recently just saw, I think it was a commercial for some sort of SUV that was that now has a family of Bigfoots.
Yeah, Toyota.
And then that's it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was Honda or Toyota or one of those, but
It might be Honda.
it's becoming commonplace, and it's becoming everything. I mean, you look at certain shows. There's been a lot of shows that, like on True TV, like what's that, Operation Repo, that were never really real shows.
Oh no, that's a bunch of horrid horse shit.
Exactly.
It's fun to
You
watch.
mean that's not real?
You mean when she backed the vehicle into the guy and like knocked him over the embankment? That didn't happen on camera?
Exactly.
No lawsuits? What?
If you read the disclaimer, though, it says they're based on real events.
So it's
That's what it says.
so it's like that movie The Strangers.
Have you ever seen the movie The Others, Chris?
With Nicole Kidman?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. As a matter of
watched
fact,
it yesterday. That was pretty damn good.
was it? Is that's your consideration for a good ghost movie?
I like the twist at the end.
Dude,
Okay.
watch a fucking M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie. Go watch.
Speaking
go watch
of-
Go watch The Visit.
It's too scary. It's too scary for me.
But I want to get back to Matt's question. Would I do it if I was running a show? No, that wouldn't be where I would go with it. You know, if I was running a reality TV show conference, maybe I would. But if I was running like a strict, this is a scientific thing, no, absolutely they wouldn't be there. And neither would I invite Todd Standing either to do anything like that as well. So
Listen, the long lost relative of Jim Henson needs to do something.
Well, what did you think about that? What did you think about Meldrum hooking up with Standing?
well, again, I've seen that whole period of time with some strange bedfellows.
No kidding.
No doubt.
And if people noticed, that's when I began to get quiet. There's some things that just dumbfounded me. People know where I stand about Todd Standing. And when I saw it, I was kind of shocked. But, I've had the opportunity to actually speak with Dr. Meldrum. And, his job, in strange as this may sound, is a scientist. And, he wanted to see what Standing was about. I remember an up-and-comer many years ago said, I want to see what Biscardi's about. So, and boy, did I find out, and boy, did I get dirt, and boy, did I get information that nobody else got. So,
Did you have to get him a Snapple?
no.
You should have fucking played that clip.
But
Hey, Chris.
Since I've known you, I mean, you've been pretty much the go-to guy in the Bigfoot world for calling out the bullshit. And now, are you just overwhelmed by all the bullshit that's out there, or is it there's nobody really left to go after that's worth the time?
Well, it's kind of like this. It used to be that you would call out a hoaxer and they would admit it and they would go away. Now you call out a hoaxer and all of a sudden they come at you with internet stalking. They make wild accusations that, you're a horrible person. It just got to be to the point where, you know what, I have a lot of better things to do than necessarily go after. There's people out there that are going after who needs to be gotten. And they're doing a fairly bang-up job of it. But, there's times I see things that, like Todd Standing. Todd Standing, we had, there was information that was very credible, very, wow. He put an ad in the newspaper looking for actors and actresses.
Right.
Stuff like that. He had a disguise. He had a pseudonym for what he did. When I went after Bigfoot Ballyhoo, I mean, we actually got people to interview the people that were her characters that we had by chance we had discovered who they were.
Right.
And this wasn't just me. This was a bunch of people that had put their heads together, and a lot of them just kept quiet and kept out of the limelight because, when anytime you go after one of these hoaxers, there is a toll that's begotten upon you. I mean,
you don't have to tell us anything. Like we're not even of the fucking caliber that you are as far as being on TV or having your name out there. Like fucking, and we've dealt with more people slinging shit and lies and just fucking misdirection. It's like fucking watching a Penn and Teller act.
Yep. Well, speaking of which, I debunked them a long time ago, back in 2006.
He takes out everybody.
Well, that was the Sonoma video hoax, so people forgot about that. But that was a Penn and Teller gag, and by the end of January, it said this is made to embarrass the cryptozoology field, and then lo and behold, in April for their show Bullshit.
Yeah,
luckily it was the BFRO that grabbed a hold of that.
Well, actually, that was part of it. But there was another guy that grabbed part of it, too, that Penn Jillette was talking about, and that was Tom Biscardi. So,
oh, Jesus.
So, there's just so many things. And then I see so many squabbles and fights, and that's why I keep quiet a lot of times.
Well, you better
I'll speak when I have... Well, I'll speak when I have something pertinent to say. I'll put out an investigation when I have something pertinent, that's something ground-shattering.
Is there anything going on currently that's caught your attention that you feel like, hey, these guys are doing a great job, or they're really accomplishing something?
Matt, that's a great question. I don't know, because I've been kind of looking... I've been focused on what I've been doing. And I've been focused on what my field team's been doing, and we spent a summer this year investigating over the course of 4 or 5 months the claims of people who claim to have had an epiduration. I will say that I am moving on to another area next year. So. Do I have necessarily the time or the effort to do it? No. I mean, a lot of people don't know this too, but I also am a co-founder of a paranormal group. And we're really trying to, pump that organization up, because unlike the Sasquatch thing, the paranormal group, our focus there is to help people. And we don't charge anything or anything like that. It's strictly to help people. People come to us. We don't do a lot of public events. But when we do, like the Paranormal Group, we are doing a big public event on Halloween. We're taking any money we get and we're giving it to the Preservation Society for this church. There's an old 1850s church, and they're trying to keep it in good shape, and it's got some issues. And any penny we get for the dinner and the ghost hunt we do with them on Halloween, that's going right back to the association that maintains the cemetery and maintains the church.
So what are you doing with the paranormal group besides the charity events?
Well, generally we'll go out and we'll help people that have had issues, and there's a lot of paranormal groups out there that will deal with things to a certain extent. Then they'll say, well, oh my God, it's demonic, we can't help you anymore. And then they disappear, or they try to say, here's a card of somebody you can contact that may help you. Well, we're not like that. We stick with it through the whole...
So are you like Ed and Lorraine Warren wrapped in the same body?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But...
are we going to find you with a fucking... Are we going to find you with a museum?
The two fields. I study Bigfoot paranormal.
No. Now you see, Matt, you just brought up the $1 million question, because people think, well, does that mean Kulls thinks that Bigfoot's paranormal? No, it's 2 separate things. And if you throw UFOs in, that's 3 separate things. And and that's what I try to tell people, is that
and if you throw Giorgio Tsoukalos's hair in there, it's 4 different things.
Well, actually, it may not be. I believe that Giorgio's hair is actually a passed-on chupacabra.
There you go.
I'd buy that. It looks like something that had mange.
So, Steve, specifically, what kind of things are you doing with the paranormal stuff?
Tell us some crazy shit, Steve. We want to hear
crazy
the stories.
shit, crazy stuff.
Well, here, I'll tell you something. I started doing paranormal in 2010. A lot of people didn't know that. I've kept it quiet just probably until the formation of the new organization. But, some of the things, have I heard EVPs? Hell yeah. Have I seen furniture move? Hell yeah. Have I heard
Steve saw
disembodied
a
voices?
fucking frog jump across the room, so you're in good company.
It was a frog that had a... No, let's not go into that. My mom's house used to... I swear it was haunted. I mean, a lot of weird shit happened there. But anyway, go on, Steve.
The Ohio Frogman? Is that what you're saying? You saw one?
No, it was the Pennsylvania Frogman in my living room.
Was he wearing Biscardi's underwear?
No. Well, it was an inanimate frog.
Alcorn drank too much soda and stayed up playing Frogger one night.
Alcorn got slipped some LSD.
No, that was the guy who the guy who played Frogger and drank all night was the guy who got in the Bigfoot suit up in where is that, Minnesota. He played Frogger and lost.
Yeah.
Fuck no. No, it was an inanimate frog. You know those things you put your keys in and you hide them outside so people don't know your keys in there. But it was on our TV because my sister collected frogs, and it fucking grew legs and jumped across the fucking room. I'm not joking. These guys give me a lot of bullshit about that, but it happened.
I want what he's drinking.
Yeah, she bought this hide key at an old Asian man's pawn shop on Christmas Eve.
Right before another guy bought a creature in a cage that he said, "Don't feed it after midnight."
After midnight, yep. Oh, jeez.
See, no.
But you asked what we're doing with the paranormal. And,
Absolutely.
And we're just helping people. I mean, to us, it's not about necessarily TV, a documentary, or anything like that. It's just a fascination, and getting the satisfaction of helping people out.
Have you debunked any haunted places?
Absolutely, yes. Yep. I have.
Did
our
some
three
old guy
really,
come out of a closet and say, "I would have gotten away with it too if it hadn't been for that guy with all those knives"?
That damn Squatchdetective.
Damn guy's gonna mace me. No, actually, there was a client we had that had one of those old typewriters, those electric typewriters. And she had it plugged in, and my God, that she was saying she was having all this activity next to her bed, and the way her bedroom is, her bed was in one place. There was an area, and then there was a chair, the desk, and the typewriter, and she was having all this activity right by her desk a lot. She would wake up, she would hear footsteps by her bed and whatnot. She would see things sometimes at night. She would hear voices. And then we come in, we do an EMF sweep of the whole place, and her typewriter is throwing off more EMF than her electrical panel.
Wow.
It just pegged every tool we had. So at the end of the investigation, we tried some EVP stuff, do flashlight sessions, we have some other equipment, K2s, try to get any kind of reaction. At the end of the investigation, our recommendation was to unplug the typewriter and remove it from the bedroom to see what had happened. And when she did that for 3 months. All activity stopped. So what we realized was it was probably just a high amount of EMF that was causing her to hallucinate, or to, that was messing up her own electrical system in her mind sometimes. So it has very similar effects to what infrasound does.
Can I do that and get a cheaper buzz than DMT?
No, I don't think so. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I've never even tried it, to be honest with you.
Well, you might have a little irritable bowel syndrome if you did that.
So I've heard. I've watched the Joe Rogan podcast.
Well, there's a guy that should wear some Preparation H lip balm, I'll tell you.
Oh, Jesus. That motherfucker. Holy shit. My favorite, though, was when he had Les Stroud on recently, and he just went after Standing while he had him on, like, just bashed the ever-loving shit out of him. That was great.
It's great at one time, but, how did it make Les Stroud feel?
Well,
didn't see
no,
it, but
he didn't. He didn't do it so much. I don't think to belittle Les Stroud. He did it to beat the shit out of Standing because he was more than willing to talk to Les Stroud about things, and they had a good conversation, and they seemed like they get along anyway. When he has him on, so I think he was more or less just giving him shit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if I had somebody like a Les Stroud on, to me, I wouldn't. I didn't see the episode, but I try to handle things with a little tact, and I would feel that let's put Standing aside, let's talk about this because I don't want. If I had Les Stroud on, my focus of the show would have been Les Stroud. I don't give a crap about Standing. I want to talk about Les Stroud.
Well, I think more or less too. A lot of that stuff had just come out. I mean, that was like right when that whole period of him like trying to pimp that documentary, and he was trying to. He had that GoFundMe or whatever, the Kickstarter, fucking trying to get all the money to fund his quote unquote research. Yeah.
To buy furniture? Wait, no, that was somebody else.
Yeah. But it, that whole. I didn't really look at it as Joe Rogan trying to slam Les Stroud. It was more him trying to call out him doing work with Standing because it was going on. But I love all that shit, and I've I don't. Like you, I don't see like the paranormal stuff having anything to do with the UFO stuff, with the Bigfoot stuff, with Steve's key thing jumping across the room. I'm pretty sure that was LSD.
Or Giorgio's hair.
Or Giorgio's hair.
What if Giorgio's hair is the key to the whole fucking thing, though?
It could be. Somebody's got to pick him up and put him in the keyhole.
I never thought of that. The porthole, the Soha porthole.
Oh yes, what do you think of the Soha portals?
Oh God, are we gonna do this again?
The motherfucker's on the show. He was known as the Squatch
Steve
Detective.
Kulls can talk about whatever Steve Kulls wants to.
That's right.
That's right.
And but he has to refer to himself in the third person like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Kulls thinks that the Soho porthole is portal, whatever. It's funny.
Could you and your paranormal team go there and perform some kind of ritual to shut down?
Speaking of, you said that your main objective is helping people. So you go to a place and it's haunted as shit, and the people are losing their minds. They want to move out. They want to sell the house. What do you do to help them?
Well, there's several things. There's it depends on the type of haunting. We do have a priest from the old Holy Catholic Church that can go in and bless that or try to release whatever is there.
Get out.
Exactly. Basically, again, this is kind of more of a spiritual side, but in those cases, we can see if they can basically give them the old Roman Catholic eviction notice, and depending on
the
what
power of Christ compels you.
That's right. So,
correct.
Trying to scare our guest away, Chris.
I'm sorry.
He's not gonna...
The power of Christ compels you. Get out!
Silence.
I thought the old Roman Catholic eviction notice was sexual abuse allegations. Wait, no, that's how you get rid of Roman Catholic.
No, that's an invitation.
So you've actually participated in these?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. I've actually, and strange as it may sound, I performed a deliverance on a house, on a residence last year.
You played the
woman who was pregnant?
You played the banjo?
No.
No, he's now known as the Squatchercist.
No. Don't start that out. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
But, I've been waiting to use that fucking line now. Come on.
I'll give you credit. That's pretty good. But yeah, and I'm glad to say that 11 months later, everything is still clear with that person, and that's what it's about. It's about helping people. It's not necessarily about anything at all. There's no pride to it at all. It's kind of.
Did you have experiences previous to entering the paranormal field?
My parents did. Very, very strange. I lived in a house that was built in the 1880s growing up, and my father had seen, and my father was a straight shooter. I mean, that guy would not BS anybody. He was in Patton's Third Army. He grew up during the Great Depression. He was a New York City employee for 30 years, retired, moved up to upstate New York, and tried and true, and then all of a sudden he saw an apparition. Not on one occasion, but on several occasions, always of the same woman. And my mother thought he was nuts until she saw it. And then one day I saw something, a shadow move that I actually thought was my mother, but was not. Because when I went into the room, there was nobody there. So, did I have some experiences? Yes. Throughout life, have I seen some strange things? I think one time, and I saw some lights flicker because I got very angry, and all of a sudden the lights started to flicker in the room. So I had no idea any of this kinetic stuff even existed. But with the advent of all this new equipment coming out in 2010, I saw some of the things. I was very, very interested in it. So like the Bigfooting thing, my background is the reason why I got into Bigfoot research, the reason why, in the early 90s, I was researching UFOs. A lot of people that know I belonged to an organization that had existed. I was one of their field investigators, and they eventually went out, and I stopped, and really investigating UFOs was not very exciting. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, I always thought that being a UFO researcher would be really boring. It takes
a certain type of person to do it.
I mean, how often are you going to be in just the right spot, staring at the sky at the right time to actually see something?
Right. But that being said, my background has always been that of an investigative nature. That's my thing. That's what I like to do. And I turned around and I got into this ghost thing, and at first I was skeptical like this until I saw some things that made me go, wow, how the hell is that possible? I would have never believed to see half the things I've seen with my own eyes or heard with my own ears.
So what was your biggest oh shit moment?
My biggest oh shit moment probably was we were in a place. It was a Halloween 3 years ago, and was it 3 years ago? 4 years ago, and we were in a place that was known to not be very friendly. And as we're in a room doing an EVP session, literally the chair that was right in front of me moved back about a foot. Just that was probably my biggest oh shit moment. And it was just a weird thing, and the after effects of that. A lot of people were having like after effects of that night. Like somebody's a person. One of the people in there tried to do provoking, and they said, "You come forward, or I'll burn this place down." Which we all looked at the person saying, "What the hell are you saying?" Right? The next
Wait a minute,
day,
we didn't sign on for this shit.
That's right. Well, the next day, one of the people that was with us, well, she had chicken coops, and they burned down.
No shit.
They literally caught fire, and they had the fire department out to her house. She's like, so there was a lot of little strange things going on. People that all of a sudden have these. I mean, I've gone into places that have been very negatively influenced, and then for like the month later, you're having the worst shit luck you could ever have, and not just me, but everybody else that was part of the investigation. So it's very interesting to see these corollaries that Is it concrete proof? I'm not out to prove anything in the paranormal. I'll be the first one to say that. And to me, it's about helping people. With the Sasquatch investigations, it was about helping people too, but it was about trying to get some of that evidence out there, trying to see what.
Steve, you, from what you're saying, you're a firm believer that something is going on in the paranormal world as far as, ghosts and whatnot.
Undoubtedly, and I'll tell you a story that very few people I've told this. My family knows about this story, but I'll put this one out publicly probably for the first time here. But in 2013, my brother passed away, and I had spoken to him maybe 6 or 7 hours before he actually passed away. The next evening, I was so distraught. My girlfriend says, "Come on, let's go out. We'll go out to eat. We'll meet up with a bunch of friends. We'll just keep our minds off of bad things. Just tip a few back and just relax." Okay, no problem. So as we're heading out, all of a sudden I get a text message on my phone from my brother's phone, which was
that's
off.
freaky, man.
Yeah. So there is something there that do I believe do we end when we die? No, absolutely not.
Okay, so with that belief, now, how come most of the ghosts that we see are relatively recent, within the last 200 years? How come we don't see 2,000-year-old ghosts or 2,000,000-year-old ghosts and shit like that?
Hard to say. And there may be there's so much speculation. Maybe they've moved on. A lot of people say ghosts are here because they have a message, they have unfinished business. Maybe those ghosts have finished their business. I don't know.
There's one theory that it's leftover energy of the person, so maybe over time the energy starts fading away. So maybe some of these shadow people and things like that are just older spirits.
Maybe, but then again, you can go to places. I understand intelligent hauntings versus residual hauntings, and we went to the Saratoga battlefield during the daytime to do EVP sessions because it's a federal land and they get touchy about doing stuff at night. In fact, they were all spying on us when we were out there with meters and stuff, like what's going on. But we actually got what we believe to be a cannon shot while we were at the Saratoga battlefield. And there were no live fire exercises going on that day there. They have those occasionally, but that day they did not. And if they were, we would be tagging them appropriately in the recorders anyway. So there are residuals, but I've been to hauntings where, I've said, hey, I'll give you one great example. We had a ghost tour of a place called the Tenbrook Mansion in Albany. It's been around since the colonial times. The house has been there since I think it was built 1758, somewhere around there. We were doing a tour. We were doing tours at that time to benefit the mansion, and we had some people there, and we were talking, and we do put the flashlights up and see if we can get the flashlights to respond to questions and stuff like that. And we have recorders, and there's one particular part in the recording, and I remember it, where the flashlight turned on by itself. And I was talking to this group, well, we do this for this particular reason, and you hear me go, oh, there goes the flashlight. And then in the back, you hear this EVP of a little girl, which we've heard this EVP many other times in this voice. And the EVP stated, "You're ignoring me," just like that. Like it turned the flashlight on, and you hear me, oh, there goes the flashlight. You're ignoring me. How can you, the level of intelligence to that, it just befuddles me.
Now, was it in a clear voice like that? You were ignoring me?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't like, you're ignoring me. It wasn't anything muffled. It was like a little girl's like, you're ignoring me.
On these TV shows and shit, man, you could barely make out what the things are saying.
Some of them.
Of the time.
Some of them, but yeah, and you do have, sometimes you got to listen, and sometimes we get whispers. I had one very clear as day because it was in a cemetery. Turn around, I said, do me a favor. I say, can you say something into this recorder and then turn the flashlight on? And what ended up happening is the flashlight went on by itself. I'm like, okay, thank you very much. I turn it down. I take the recording back, and I get this very growly male voice go, "Get the fuck talking." I was like, what? So, during that time frame. So it did exactly what I said. How it does that?
I had a very interesting, similar experience, Steve. In a graveyard.
I'm always waiting. With York, I'm always waiting for a pun.
I used to have sex with this redhead who absolutely had no morals whatsoever, and we were in the graveyard, and she said, "Stick it in me."
You knew her too?
Only she said it in a whisper. "Stick it in me."
That's nice.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't I see somewhere on the internet where you had the opportunity to go to the famous Bobby Mackey's?
I did.
What was that like?
That was creepy as shit. It was interesting. I left there with a distinct impression that there is something not very nice there.
Tell everybody what Bobby Mackey's is first, in case somebody doesn't know.
Well, Bobby Mackey's world, I mean, whether it is or isn't, there's a lot of claims to that it's supposed to be like one of the 7, portals of hell, and but there was supposed to be a lot of dark stuff that happened over the years. It was the site of a slaughterhouse and a saloon, and there was a singer murdered in the area that had ties to the saloon, and it just over the years had all this dark history to it. And there's several, ghost hunting groups that have gone in there that have had some very negative experiences, possessions, and scratches and stuff like that. So going in there was, very, very, very interesting place. I mean, I will say this, that in the first minute and a half of the EVP recorder our digital recorder we were using, we caught an EVP of a woman moaning, which was kind of interesting.
A very similar thing happened to Chris one.
Yeah.
So
I often record my sessions without them knowing.
Your EVP recorder, is that anything special, or is it just a regular digital
No, it's just my phone usually. I set it up in the corner.
I'm talking to calls.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I usually hide it behind the teddy bear on the shelf.
I was going to say, York now has a teddy bear.
No, you won't see this on X Hamster later.
But no, we use regular digital recorders. We have used some Zooms once in a while too.
I was talking to, now she's since passed, and she was a good friend of us. Oh, I'm not sure about Matt, but Chris and I, Sally Petrie, I talked to her one time, and she said that any kind of recording device will do, even a cassette tape, if that's all you have.
Well, according to the old timers, a cassette recorder will do, provided there's some white noise in the background.
Right, but she said it doesn't matter. You can start out with what you have. It doesn't matter what you start out with. So
exactly.
I just wanted to get your take on that, whether or not.
One of the first pieces of equipment I ever had was homemade, and it was actually an old
sock.
Yeah, it was a sock with some buttons for eyes. And no, it was an old cassette recorder with a headphone jack, and you busted it open and wired in a few more tape heads on there, and you would turn it on to record. You had to break some parts in it to get it to stick, and you'd have your headphones on, and you would actually, the idea was if there was a fluctuation in the electromagnetic field, you could hear clicks and static and stuff coming through the tape heads.
Gotcha. No, we were using a new piece of equipment that was actually I got down in the convention I was at recently.
The Ghostron 6000.
Well, it's kind of funny. It measures 3 things. The first thing it measures is it has a parameter that will alarm with any drastic temperature changes. It will alarm if there's any drastic EMF changes. It will actually gives us a readout of the ambient temperature. And the bottom one is actually a geophone, which for folks that don't know what a geophone is that it measures vibration. Go
Chris
ahead,
has
York.
something similar.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
I'm just gonna let you guys tell the jokes now.
Chris has one of those in his sock drawer, actually.
Yes.
That's right. It's got a little piece of fur on it.
Mine's called a. Mine's actually my wife's, and it's called a rabbit.
But anyway, we've
And I
tried
am allowed to
using
talk
that-
about it. Oh.
Hey, come on now.
But but we've used that device the last time we were doing a pre-investigation of the place we're doing the benefit at the end of the month, and the results of it were very, very fascinating. Like, we would ask questions to this, and it would actually like the geophone, in which we would have way up, and we test it, and the geophone would blink when we ask it questions. So it was pretty fascinating stuff. So I can't answer it. I can't answer how or why any conventional thing, because I've tried to debunk it. So
what about these devices that have a built-in word list and you ask it questions? You ask
the speak and spell.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Stephen
a speak and spell, I
Hawking?
guess. But I think you know what I'm talking about, Steve. There's that device and it has
The
a built-in
Ovilus.
word list. Yeah, whatever it's
the
called.
Ovilus. Yeah.
What do you think about those things?
I'm not sure about those. I mean, it's strange how I guess it depends on what it's saying.
Yeah, I see that those could be manipulated pretty easy, I think.
Well, I don't think the user can be manipulated, but I think the device itself could
That's
be.
what I mean. Right. There's noise in the background at my house.
Yeah, so that's why I don't really, I think the Ovilus, like everything else, is just a tool.
Right.
Have
I
you
mean,
had any experience with using a Frank's box device?
The Ghost Box, we do use a Ghost Box device, and believe it or not, and one particular time that dark place actually said my name, full first name, full last name, which was really kind of freaky. Then it started talking about some of the folks that were around us and who they were as well.
And then
And
played some
name it.
Bass Squire.
And I prefer
That's
to
true.
use
No.
your mom's box.
That would be very interesting. She's long gone.
That's why it
specifically
works
mean
so
your-
well, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, God. You didn't know what you signed up for, Mr. Kulls, when you agreed to do this.
Oh, yes, he did.
Or so you think.
But it's been a nice little wild ride for you. UFOs to fucking Bigfoot to the paranormal. I mean, it's been a nice little fucking jaunt for you through the
And
unexplained.
don't forget, he went and hunted Loch Ness as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
It just stick sea monsters in there too?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't live that far from Lake Champlain either, so I've been up that way as well.
God.
I've actually drove the old TNT factory down in Point Pleasant too. So, it's life is an adventure, and you got to live it to the fullest. So if there's something that I want to do, damn it, I will do it. And that's just the way I am.
I'm with you there.
Chris lives a very similar life. Of course, he has to get them to agree with it first,
Yeah, well,
or they have to be passed out.
I'm like, seize the day. Well, I'm going to anyway.
Don't have a seizure during the day though. That's one.
So,
But-
I'm kind of going to wrap things up, Steve, and you're more than welcome to stay with us through we do our little segments at the end here. This is our, I don't know if you're aware of this gentleman. He's actually become quite vocal lately in the Bigfoot community due to, I guess, us. I guess it's our fault.
I don't know. Do we want to take credit for that?
I guess it's our fault. I don't know. But we refer to him as Sir Richard Allen. His name is just Richard Allen. He's a British gentleman. And he has a segment on our show which we refer to as the Rantings of a Schizophrenic Brit. And this week, Gentlemen, I give you paranormal ferrets. I want you to let that sink in for a second. Paranormal ferrets. Sir Richard Allen.
On this installment of whatever, I take a look at the most paranormal of all God's creatures, the common ferret, or Mustela putrid.
That's what I always think of.
Ferrets aren't paranormal. Fuck off, naysayers. They fucking are. They can teleport, cloak, have their own language, and perform telepathy. Also, I'm pretty damn sure they use portals as well. Alright, so most of that was bollocks. They can't actually do any of that shit. Or can they? No. No, they can't. But they can appear to have done that shit. Now, I have a few ferrets, but at the moment I'm working primarily with a couple of them, as they are the youngest and need more attention than the wise ferret elders. As working animals, there is a certain amount of training and shit that they require in order to become the unstoppable killing machines that I know them to be.
Are the wise old ferrets like the things in the Dark
Some
Crystal?
are better than others. When a ferret doesn't like you, you're going to have a bad time with it because, well, when they bite, they don't tend to let go unless you're very, very firm. All ferrets are different. Some are better at being with you than others, and some will not like you for no apparent reason. I don't know why that is. Scruffing them,
kick you off their
by which I
Facebook
mean
group.
grabbing them by the back of their head like their mother would do and dragging them across the floor to demonstrate ferret dominance is a good technique if you're not.
He abuses his ferret.
But sometimes you will get that ferret who just won't listen to you no matter what you do. Little fluffy bastard.
You have to throw it against the wall.
Like that, and after months of intense training, doing my hardest, as soon as they've gone down the rabbit hole, I mean a real rabbit hole, not a metaphor, they run and don't come back. The way it goes sometimes, sadly. Luckily for me, my two youngest right now, Cicero and Esme, are perfect little ladies and don't seem to have any kind of beef with me just yet. So yay! Okay, so how does this translate to them having paranormal powers? Well, I'll tell you. Okay,
Yeah,
so what was the
doesn't.
first power I said they possess? Teleportation, right. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean they're fucking fast. Playing tag with the ferrets involves me putting them in the paddock and letting them have the run of it.
Fucking
They tend to
cheetah's
find
fast.
big
I'm not going to
patches
tell
of
you it
long
can
grass
teleport.
and big bushes and tunnel down under it and run around a small warren of their creation. This helps them for when I take them hunting and put them down real rabbit holes, they will come back. Which is useful. Anyway, so I put them down the paddock and boom,
I used to
they are
seem
gone.
like I could
A few
teleport
seconds
when her
later,
husband
furry
came
head
home.
will pop up on the other side of the long grass, thus giving the
He also
illusion
called it climbing
that
out the
ferret has
window.
teleported. But it's just speed mixed with knowledge of their surroundings. This morning was a bit
It
of
was
a ball
paranormal,
ache,
Matt.
actually. Cicero nailed a wild rabbit. It took me ages to find out where she was eating the damn thing. As if I didn't find her, she'd have taken it off and hidden for days digesting it. But I digress. Again, I can't help it. Ferrets are awesome. Alright, next power I said they possess. Cloaking. Despite the fact that a few of them are silver white, and by which I mean they're like pure white with like silver streaks going down their back, traditional ferret colours, and you'd think they'd really stick out in a field of green, wouldn't you? Do they bollocks? When they hide, I can't see them for shit, and led me to suspect that they had escaped on more than one occasion. Nope, just well hidden. White ferrets, green paddock. You do the math.
I see a parallel here.
Language. They make a clucking sound when they're happy or excited. They hiss when they're getting
So do I.
peeved, squeak when they're really excited, and scream when they're really pissed off or in pain. The screaming
Sounds like
especially
yours.
is nerve-wracking as it sounds horrible. But they
You
communicate.
had a fat screaming
Friendly
Clarice.
forest ferret people, maybe? Raised eyebrow? Mind reading. They can bloody read my mind, I know that, because when it's time to
What did
collect
the
them, from
ferret
either
say when you
playtime or
walked
hunting,
in?
the fucking cunts
He
vanish
said,
from
"I
time
can
and
smell your
space.
cunt."
Seem to derive great pleasure from making me annoyed and do not appear, no matter how often I call them, every fucking
Only he said it
day.
like,
Takes a lot of fucking unnecessary effort to round them up, the fucking furry, weird cake, cat, snake, sausage things. No, I'm not kidding. I love them. The bottle
Furry
thing,
cat,
I
snake,
can't really
sausage
back
thing?
up at all. I just put that
Sometimes
in
you
like
wear the
George
asshole of
Johnson.
a ferret,
Because he's a cunt.
but not
Take
today.
all that with a pinch of salt.
Oh my God! Do you get the feeling he just wanted to talk about his fucking ferrets?
I
So
think
he had to
just,
make it
yeah,
paranormal?
no, he did, yeah. And he was trying to make correlations to the fact that I can make anything fucking paranormal, i.e. Johnson.
Right.
That was a big smack in the... He might as well have just whipped his fucking cock out and slapped it against a picture of Dr. Johnson the whole time.
And
He's
drew
not
a
allowed to
ferret
speak.
face on it.
What I understand, he's not allowed to speak about Dr. Johnson. Or I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to. I'm sorry, Richard. I called him a doctor.
He's
Holy
not
fuck.
allowed to?
For like till the end of the month for some reason. I don't know. I didn't get that part.
Self-imposed rule, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like somebody like actually tried to sue him.
No.
Oh.
So I have now, thanks to that little bit there, I now know that Sir Richard Allen not only just has a couple of ferrets as pets, which I thought, he actually has a whole slew of ferrets that he uses to hunt down other animals with and kill them.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to find
sounds
out.
like a fun
Listen,
hobby.
Matt, we're going to find out that he's going to be one of these hermit people in Britain that lives like off the grid, hunting with his fucking ferrets.
I thought he was possibly training his ferrets to destroy the ring that binds them all.
By
Could
off
be.
the grid, you mean in his parents' basement, right?
Yes. Downstairs.
All right.
Speaking of basement and downstairs,
Steve, do you got any news?
Oh my God, yes, I do. BostonGlobe.com. They showed off high definition camera arrays. By the way, Steve, Kulls, you still there with us?
Yes.
Oh, you're in for a treat. I suck at reading the news. Yeah. They showed off high-definition camera arrays they had developed to detect alien spacecraft. They mulled over an academic study of people who have made contact with extraterrestrials. They made the connection between flying saucers, Bigfoot-type creatures, and ghosts. They were the true believers who filled into Leominster City Hall.
Ancient
Saturday.
Aliens?
No,
David
no.
Childress?
No, I don't think he was there. Festooned with
Bill
infallible...
Brock was there.
Oh, they were festooned with inflatable...
If there's a guy in a red and black flannel jacket, it's gotta be Ancient Aliens.
They
No,
had...
it wasn't a joke. Bill Brock really was there. Giving
What the hell does festooned mean?
I'm not sure what festooned, but they were festooned with inflatable aliens, casts of Sasquatch footprints, and tables full of souvenir T-shirts.
What did
to
Bill
attend
Brock
the
have to
greater-
say, though?
Do you want to know? Hey, Bill Brock messaged me. Did I tell you about that?
No, you didn't.
Was he festooned at the time?
He doesn't think we're friends anymore for some reason.
So he was festooned.
No, he was
Yeah, he was
schnookered. It's referred to as... Or high.
Anyway, this was at the Greater
Allegedly.
New England UFO conference. Many of these people were glad to find each other. I bet they were.
Was Dax Rushlow there wearing a Tom Brady jersey?
He may have.
No one would have been able to see him. He's far too short.
It used to be we were all in silos, said paranormal investigator William J. Hall. The UFO people didn't talk to the ghost people because they're stupid, and no one talks to the Bigfoot people because they're crazy. Oh, yeah, well, that's kind of true. The conference is serious business to researchers
That's all
like Hall.
crazy and stupid.
As well as representatives of a network of UFO investigators called MUFON, who presented the alien detection camera arrays and found the foundation for research into extraterrestrial encounters, which is conducting the study of folks who've had close encounters. For others, the convention was just an excuse to have a good time. That sounds good. I want people to be happy, says Susan McNeil Fowler, one of the event's co-organizers.
My
A
old
sales
pot dealer used to
executive-
say the same thing.
A sales executive who paid nearly 10 grand to advertise the event, fly in speakers, and put them up in hotels. Despite never having seen an alien herself, Spalfer, that's how you say her name too, Spalfer.
How do you know? You called her an ass?
I don't know. No, I didn't.
And that's how you say it too, guys.
Well, you know how I usually butcher names. Spuhle. Spalfer. I'm going to go with Spalfer because there's no F in it. Also created a model UFO that she mounted in her truck for.
Wait a minute, you put an F in a name that doesn't have an F, and you're telling me that that's the way it's pronounced?
She's Nordic, Chris.
Yes.
Oh. Oh.
Jeez. I'm going to skip to the end of the story. Because this,
Was she in Troll Hunter?
I don't know. She might have been. Okay. I'm not one of the crazy ones, said Ray Ordigison. Oh my God! What is Narragansett? Is that how you say it?
Narragansett.
Yeah, that place, Rhode Island. Who learned about the conference on Facebook? But with all the stars and the galaxy, there's got to be something. That was the general consensus. It's just a matter of gathering proof and alerting the public, and then perhaps making contact. Whew. I suffered through that one. Holy fuck.
We suffered through it. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm sitting over here festooning.
Festoon away.
From entertainment.ie. I don't want to do
me festoon.
Do I really have to do this fucking story, Chris?
Yes, you do. They found Buddha.
Already, all the ufologists, and they put in quotes, or in parentheses, those are the people who study sightings of UFO and other paranormal activity, ufologists, have claimed that they seen a tiny woman, a face that looks like a woman, and found footage of a supposed hidden NASA mission to Mars. So naturally, of course, finding the statue of a 1,500-year-old deity completely makes sense. Absolutely. Why wouldn't it? The Poe statue was captured by the Mars Curiosity rover almost a year ago and has been pored over and analyzed by ufologists. Some claim it's evidence of a formerly advanced civilization that worships something similar to a humanoid shape, while others believe it represents Buddha, an Indian guru who created Buddhism. I don't want to do this story. God.
What are you, a fucking child?
Yeah.
I don't want to go to Nana and Grandpa's.
It's probably that fucking Scott Waring dumbass again, and I don't want to do it.
They're just hijacking.
The power of Christ compels you. Do the fucking story.
A security camera at Garden Ridge or something.
Anyway, most people think it's a rock formation that looks strangely like a human person.
And there's a little boy peeing into a bird bath.
No, that's just me.
Why do they gotta find shit on Mars that really isn't there? They do it on the moon, too.
When are they going to find John Carter?
Well, I guess this is a really, kind of scary in a way story, but this is from people.com. A murdered woman was discovered this week hanging from a chain link fence in Ohio, but passersby ignored the victim at first.
Wow.
That's probably not appropriate for, this particular story, but whatever, that's what we do here. But passersby ignored the victim at first because they assumed it was a Halloween prank. Chillicothe. I think that's how you say that. I'm from Ohio, and I don't even know how to pronounce that fucking thing.
Chillicothe.
Yeah, that's it. Cops say the victim, Rebecca Cade, 31, had been severely beaten and was trying to run away, but as she climbed the fence, her sleeve got entangled in the barbs on the top of the fence, and she ended up passing away dangling from the fence. That's according to Detective Bud Lytle. Lytle believes Cade was beaten with a grapefruit-sized rock in a field, and I'm not going to read all that shit because, it's kind of gross. Several people noticed the woman's body on the fence, but didn't initially comprehend what they were seeing. There were some neighbors taking their kids to school.
I thought they sold those at Walmart.
Well, they thought it.
How come it's not moving?
They thought it was a Halloween decoration. The dead body was
usually if you wave at it, it goes.
The dead body was only identified as such when a construction worker, who also thought it was a decoration, went to remove it and realized it was a human body. I'm glad I'm not that guy.
See, I told you, people in Ohio, man.
What's wrong with Ohio? I live in Ohio.
You think you have a grass man?
I mean, I'm a newcomer to Ohio. We got a frog man, too, according to Steve Kulls. He was talking about
the
it.
Loveland Frogman, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Waves a wand.
So, I came from Pennsylvania. We got some cool cryptids over there, but Ohio has some really fucking cool cryptids, and they all tend to be green for some reason. The grass man.
The grass man isn't green.
No, he's made out of grass. He's got to be green.
That's not what it means.
God. Yes, it does. Because I said
God.
You got the frog man. Yeah, he's green. You can't argue with that one. Anyway, they found who they believe to be the suspect in this case, Donnie Kochenor, of 27. He's been charged with 1 count of murder. And it turns out, and this part isn't fun. None of this story is really funny, but it turns out she had some sort of mental handicap, and she trusted people a lot, and she trusted the wrong guy this time, apparently. So that's that story, and that is the news, fellas.
Mick West never would have given me that batch of fucking... no, wait a minute. I take that back. Mick West wouldn't have ended on that fucking downer.
It's part of the news.
Who picked that story?
That would have been Steve Alcorn, Matt.
Wow, I'm gonna go shit myself now.
Yeah, it's important information. The grass man isn't green.
Shut up. This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 93. If you like this shit, hit the thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the thumbs down button. Leave a comment. Share this shit around. Subscribe. Go check out Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and at youtube.com/Dred Funn.
Hey, Steve, you forgot to mention the Chautauqua thing.
Yeah, it's next week. Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo.
It's in
And
Chautauqua.
do you have any websites, Steve, you'd like to plug?
Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot.com, Squatchdetective.com, and ExtremeParanormalTeam.com.
And check out bigfootcrossroads.com.